Hello everyone, welcome to Jewish Week Online. We're here with the Jewish Funk team, and we're checking out the movie PEEP WORLD. We had the opportunity to interview the director of the film, Barry Blaustein. PEEP WORLD is a story about a Jewish family who is celebrating the 70th birthday of their father, and at the same time dealing with a tell-all book about the inner workings of the family. And this is an independent film. There's some richness that really separates it from the blockbusters that are out there, and has some amazing cast members starring Michael C. Hall, Judy Greer, Rifkin, Ben Schwartz, Sarah Silverman, Rainn Wilson, and Leslie Ann Warren. And it makes you think, what would your family do in dealing with a tell-all book? Let's take a closer look.
Tell you something, Nate. When you're successful, there are always people who will tear you down. It's something that your brothers and your sister wouldn't understand. Rehab, how many times?
3.
How many nose jobs did you have?
One, and then one for maintenance.
Thanks, Dad.
There were 4 Meyerwitz children. Jack was the responsible son. CHERI was a would-be artist, actress, and singer-songwriter. Nathan, a writer, was the family's only success. And Joel was the black sheep.
What do you need now, Joel?
I'm gonna just put you on the phone with Maduk from Sudan, and all you have to do is give him your credit card number. Wait, do I ride with you?
Once a year, they gathered to celebrate their father's birthday. But this year, a book came out that exposed their family's secrets.
I just want to make a toast to my fabulous son, Nate, and the great success he's having with his book, PEEP WORLD.
Pardon me if I don't toast a man who's ruined my life.
What did I do? Did I make you more unemployed?
You stabbed us all in the back, you mother...
It is a great honor to present to you the new voice of a generation, Nathan Meyerwitz.
PEEP WORLD, #1 best-selling novel. Welcome, Nathan Meyerwitz.
Everywhere I look, PEEP WORLD and PEEP WORLD.
It's just a book.
And a movie. They're shooting right outside my apartment.
Action!
Everything I wrote in PEEP WORLD is true.
You're in the part about your sister sleeping with the entire cast of Tony and Tina's wedding?
She really loved that show.
You didn't read your own son's novel?
Well, come on, what do I have to read it for? I lived it.
Do you think that I'm a loser?
Who said that?
My father, my whole family, pretty much everyone I know.
Your brother's on TV again.
Dad's proud of you, as long as people are patting him on the back.
Can I get a shot of something? Anything.
That was amazing.
It's just sex, Nathan.
Premature ejaculation is a common problem.
You don't come off so great in the book either.
Hello? Hey, it's Joel. How you... Jack?
We're gonna have a baby.
What? Look, I am.
All this over a book? Got cousins that shot each other and got over it.
So we're here with the director of PEEP WORLD, a comedy about family. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the business.
When I graduated from NYU, I moved out to Los Angeles because that's where the film business was. I always wanted to be in the film business and make films. So I didn't study that in college. I was going to go to law school at one time. And then when I graduated, I actually got into law school. I told my parents I was going to pursue a job in show business, which they were supportive of. And I moved out to Los Angeles. I started working on, you take any job you can in the beginning. And I worked on talk shows, writing questions and answers. And all the time I'd be writing stuff on the side, these sketches, which were turned down by almost everybody, except I was hired by Saturday Night Live. This is the first time they're looking for new writers. I moved back to New York, started working on Saturday Night Live, and it was the first time they had a new cast, and it's where I met my writing partner, David Sheffield, and Eddie Murphy. And the career took off from there.
And breaking into the business is never easy.
Right.
And you've been successful in getting involved in various projects. And with PEEP WORLD, it's also a very interesting. It's a story about family, but a dysfunctional family.
Right.
And why is Hollywood so interested in Jewish families?
Well, I don't know if they're interested in Jewish families. I just think interested in families because I think everybody has issues with families. You know, the family in PEEP World is Jewish, but they could have been Irish or Italian, and with very minor changes would have been the same thing. I mean, a friend of mine, there was a line in the movie we wrote that was eventually not, we took out, but it was that families where self-esteem goes to die. And I think for a lot of people, it is that way. You know, I'll talk to my mother about that. And she goes, well, it's not self-esteem. We're just family. You can be honest with one another. And I said, also, family can be very hurtful to one another. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people, and I grew up in a really good family, but I think a lot of people grow up in families that are not supportive and are not functional. Mm-hmm. And eventually you learn in the course of life that you can make your family whoever you want it to be. Mm-hmm. You don't have to spend your whole life trying to please your family. Mm-hmm. Everybody in this world has in common. Everybody comes from a family.
Right.
Even orphans come from a family.
Right.
Not the family or their original family. That's the one thing everybody in the universe has. So everybody has a familiar relationship. Everybody has a different kind of relationship with their parents and their brothers and sisters.
Right.
But everyone has a relationship with them.
Right. And you have so many, you know, impressive stars in this movie. How did you get across the meaning of family, but also like there's so much comedy in it. How did you bring about, you know, all that connections?
Well, a lot of it's in the script, and I met with all the actors individually, mm-hmm. and you know, it was a lot of wooing. You know, the film cost $1 million to make, mm-hmm. and these people were not getting paid. You know, they all could have worked more at Burger King for a week and probably made as much money they were paid. So, you know, I think it was response to the script, response to hopefully me. And you know, they were interested in the material. I think they found the material interesting.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them could relate to it.
Right. And how did you, like? Obviously, there's a lot of Jewish references in the.
You know, and someone else said that. Some critics said, "I don't see where the Jewish references."
No, I've seen the Jewish. I thought there were a lot of different Jewish references.
Like what?
I don't know. It's like even like, you know, the Jews for Jesus explanation.
The Jews for Jesus, yeah, that's one thing.
Right.
But otherwise, we just call them the Meyewitzes. I don't know where.
Right.
You know, I don't know where they were. You know, it's interesting. Some of the actors were going, "I'm not Jewish."
Right.
And I'm going, "Well, I'm not. These are not Lower East Side."
Right. No, for sure. I thought it added to the comedy to it. You know, like I think there's definitely there's sort of like jokes that sort of bring about, you know, it has like that Jewiness to it, but not necessarily, let's say, a Jew. But
Jewy. That should have been the
right, exactly. But like when Sarah Silverman was, you know, trying to, you know, explain like, you know, the Jews for Jesus thing, like stop rolling your beads. You know, it's not the right time. You know, it's too noisy. You know, it was like it was funny. It was a funny scene. It was like,
that was Sarah had lived that line. I thought it was very funny.
Yeah. What are you looking for the audience to take away from the movie?
Well, you know, I hope they enjoy it, entertained by it, and you know, and if it causes them to look upon their own familial relationships in a new way or re-examine them, then that's great too. Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you look at movies, and this is like, I guess, a lower budget movie, how did you actually get this, you know, to the forefront and you know, putting it all together?
Well, it's very hard. It's very hard when there's not a lot of money and there's not, you know, the studio system. You know, they just want to make big blockbuster movies, and so they're not interested in making a small little, mm-hmm. and they don't know really how to distribute. It's not the business they're in. Mm-hmm. We're good, bad, or indifferent. It's not the business they're in. Mm-hmm. But you just got to find people that are passionate about it. And you know, no one does this project for the money.
Right. Like, how do you know, for our audience out there who are interested in, you know, bringing ideas to the forefront and trying to sell scripts, what would be your advice, you know, for these types of independent films and trying to make them reality?
I can't give you one piece of advice because there's no simple one way. You know, I always quote Malcolm X, which is by any means necessary. You just have to find out however which way you can get the movie made. Mm-hmm. That's the way you do it. There is no simple road. There's no simple way of how to make it. I think most people who made it in this business, or successful in any business, have incredible work ethics. And they just don't. You have to be resilient. You have to be able to bounce back from rejection. Be able to handle rejection real well, because you're going to be rejected 5% of the time.
Yeah, it's
and passion. You need passion, and but you also need the product to back it up.
Right. And you know, when you first
I mean, so many people go, "I'm creative," and I go, "Well, what have you done? Can I see anything?" "No, but I'm very creative." And I'm like, "Well."
When you first read PEEP World, what was your first impressions?
I liked it. I could relate to it. I mean, you know, there were changes I made within the script, but Peter Himmelstein wrote a very good script, and this is something I'd like to be part of. I remember reading it on a plane, and I finished reading it, and a woman turned to me and sitting next to me and goes, "You must have enjoyed what you're smiling throughout." I go, "Yeah, I did."
No, that's great. No, I think in movies today, especially in independent films and lower budget, you really can see the effort that is played, and you can see like the emotion and the comedy, and I think that's what sets a lot of these projects from these, I guess, bigger blockbusters, because you can see the creativity, I think, more so in these type of films.
Sure.
And
I just don't care about robots.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
I just don't. Right. And the movies from another time and another dimension, they just don't interest me. And that's fine for the huge audience for those movies. Right. But I wish they would make more than just those type of movies.
Right. Where do you see independent films going in the next 3 or 4 years?
It's very hard to see. I see a less, sadly, I think a less and less theatrical life, more video on demand, that sort of thing, different ways of showing it. The reality is there isn't much. The audience doesn't go out for these movies. They go in the theater. They don't run to the theaters to see them. And theaters will drop a film very quickly, or immediately the first week. So things aren't given a chance to gain word of mouth. And to open a film is very expensive.
Right.
So you're stuck with that conundrum. I think there are going to be different ways people be involved in different types of movies. They have great home theater systems and video demand and all that stuff. People go, "Why should I go to the theater and pay?"
But even now, there's been a surge in video on demand, and how that market is exploding. Where a lot of films that, let's say, didn't even do so well in the theaters are having a life of its own.
Oh, sure.
On video on demand.
That's the one good thing.
Right.
Someone told me, it's true, films have a much longer life now.
Right. It's true.
And there are films that came out initially and didn't do all that well, box office-wise, yet it had an incredible cultural influence, and it stayed much longer in the cultural zeitgeist than films that might have made hundreds of $millions.
Right. No, yeah. Well, it's exciting, because there's a lot of creative people out there trying to make films.
Yeah, people are trying. Everybody. I know it's hard to believe, but when everybody makes a film, they're trying to make the best possible version of that film they can. People who do, conceivably, like another horror film.
Right.
It's still trying to make the best version of that.
Right.
People really do, and sometimes it doesn't work out. There's so many ways a film can go wrong.
Right. No, for sure.
It's not a miracle. People, that's why aren't there more good movies. I'm amazed that there are any good movies. I'm just grateful for that.
Right. Yeah, that's great. And what are some other projects that you're working on?
I'm working on a few documentaries. I'm working on writing a feature now, which I hope to direct, and I've written a couple studio movies. So I'm keeping busy.
Great.
And someone's got to pay for the gas.
That's it. Well, thank you so much for your time.
All right.
And continue your good work. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Right. Bye-bye.